know what
And
to do with
I think this is something we kind of spoke about earlier as well, like in the original mental health pod,
yeah,
where like the episode where
mental
we were talking
hygiene.
about we know what to do with physical cuts and physical
Yeah,
ailments, but we aren't able to understand how to fight off our mental illnesses, right?
exactly. So
And
for
the first thing is like you start with diagnosing it when you don't even know what it
yeah,
is. How do you even start to fight it off? And
that's
like
true.
Z just said, he realized what anxiety was when he was 25.
Yeah,
I
like
think
what? Okay, no wait, I'm not going to be 100 for sure, but so,
that, that joke of like we are already in a midlife crisis at the moment.
quarter life crisis more like. Yeah,
Oh,
thirdly
uh,
life crisis. Okay, no, we're not going to make mathematical jokes. Dumb kids don't have that right. We're
my
not a
God.
math. But yeah,
Yeah.
it- as a society, we don't take mental health seriously.
Hmm.
If you're living in a part of the world where your country or your area or your society takes it seriously, brilliant. Please send me an invitation and a plane ticket. I would love to come.
I
But
don't
at
think
least,
going anywhere at this time is a good idea, dude.
yeah. Okay, wait. Don't send me a plane ticket. You got me.
um,
Okay. So at least where I was growing up, it's not like people deliberately ignored taking care of
right.
mental health. It's just that they weren't aware of what it was. I
Mhm.
mean, all the baby boomers and your parents and the Gen Xers that we've grown up around have unfortunately been way too busy to just put food on the table, and they had
Mhm.
to struggle from the grassroots just so that they could arrive to the so-called aspirational middle class, which, to be
Right.
honest, I think is an illusion, but people like to say it. I think you're either rich or poor, but then that's just the non-conformist side of me. So for me, things like anxiety were a joke, and when I went through it, it took an external person to sort of listen to what I was going through and tell me that, hey, you know what, you're probably having anxiety, you're probably having a nervous breakdown right now, you're probably showing signs of depression, and that was a real eye opener.
And just to know, like, when was this that like you went through this kind of a phase where you were that anxious and that you had to sit down and speak about it?
So for me, the entire struggle started. So up till around till the age of 24, I thought I would live life very differently. I thought I would, pursue multiple internships, and I would do a lot of social work, and I'd work with nonprofits, and I'd live a small but content life. But
Right.
as I transitioned from 24 to 25, I sort of had a realization that the bills to pay are bigger than I thought, and what it meant, like, to take care of a house, and I sort of, you could say, compromised and sacrificed my dreams, and I decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go do an MBA. I'm going to a college, and then and do a master's course, and become a corporate.
Just an FYI, like that is where we met.
Yeah, and kids, that's how I met your mother. So,
Oh my
uh,
God.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, okay. So doing an MBA was probably me betraying my identity, my belief, because I always thought that it, you don't need to spend a lot of money and 2 years of your time and go back to
Mhm.
academics to be successful. But I sort of betrayed on myself. I betrayed
Mhm.
myself, and that sort of haunted me. And I think that's when the first cracks sort of came up.
Developed in a way, you can say, right?
Yeah, and let me just say, I know what I sound like. For a lot of people who might not be very privileged, you must be like, what the fuck, buddy? You sort of invested a good chunk of money, and you had the luxury of not earning anything for 2 years. What do you have to complain about? And I think this is exactly the problem, and this is
Yeah.
what I realized, because at
we
least
need to
this.
we need to change this kind of mindset where like just because
Because
you have money
yeah,
it doesn't mean like you don't have problems. So one thing I once read, and this really is pertinent to this, is like money can't buy happiness, it just rents it, is something I read somewhere. And it's kind of like it's very correct in a way that yeah, we do come from a very privileged position, and we know we need to check our privilege for sure, and we are one of those people who like are in a position to be able to have such
ऐसा
opportunities
बोल रहे हैं
and
कि एक तो पहले लड़का है, ऊपर से
uh,
नेटफ्लिक्स देखता है, इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग पॉडकास्ट बनाना है,
yeah.
प्रिपरेशन कैसे?
Yeah,
Like,
but honestly, like, it's one of those things that anybody at any time, at any point, can go through these problems. Whether you be from a like very rich background or you be from more like humble background in general, it comes to the fact that like you cannot shun these problems away because as we said, like these are genuine killers. These are problems that like just because you're somewhere at a position of power or no, doesn't mean like you can't get affected and maybe do something that you might regret or your family might regret at some point. And you know what, like just to be able to fight that off, we need to understand that anybody and everybody deserves the ability to speak out and be able to talk about their problems and be open with it and be comfortable with it, because the
exactly.
more we allow it, the more the people can like we say, we want to develop this safe space because it is a required place. It is something people need, um which is sadly like yeah, which is sadly like not available. But yeah, so anxious like anxiety for Z, like he said, I guess came around when he was 25, right?
Yeah,
And
and just one small thing I want to add is that for all of us out there who let's say are from slightly privileged backgrounds, or let's say are just doing okay, right? We can pay our bills and put food on the table. We don't have to be staying in penthouses and shit. But for that lot of us, that's let's say from the middle class, often when we are on the crux of the realization or sort of the insight that okay, you know what, we're probably having anxiety or we're having depression or we're having some kind of nervous breakdown. The worst part is that our mind sort of makes it worse for us because that's the thing we tell ourselves okay, hey, you have everything in life. There are so many people who don't have even 10% of what you do. And we think that would make us feel better, but that actually makes it worse. And that's something that I did a lot at the beginning. I tried to be in denial. I tried to be grateful. I tried to write a journal of things that I have that I am grateful about. And trust
Mhm.
me, that made it worse for me because all I had to do was just stay with that feeling, not try to immediately shake myself out of it. And
Mhm.
if you're out there and you guilt trip yourself, uh, you know, by telling yourself that hey, you have no right to be sad or you have no right to do this or to be or to be depressed because there are people out there who have much more. Don't do that. That's really toxic behavior. That's behavior that is going to make it worse. That
That's definitely true. Like genuinely don't do that to yourself, because the more you and don't do that to anybody else, to be fair, because as much as like we feel that we are not allowed these things, we shouldn't allow ourselves to feel this way. That is the problem. Like you can't stop it because it's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's your mental health, and it is one of those things that you don't have control over. If it happens, it like the only thing you can do is work on improving your condition. Work on like maybe helping yourself. Like let yourself help yourself is the main thing in a way.
Because I think deep down, the biggest enemy over here is going to be your own self. I mean, when
Yeah,
you're having anxiety or when you're having a panic attack or you're having a
yeah.
breakdown, the worst part is your own mind. Because instead of making you feel better, your mind literally becomes like
Hmm.
a jailer that's making you feel worse. Like to sort of draw a mental picture over here, imagine that what's really happening is your mind is your jailer and you are the person being imprisoned. And that's ironic on so many levels because you are imprisoning yourself. And that is so simple to look at but at the same time so complicated because your own mental prisons are the ones that are the most difficult to break out of. And that happens a lot when because your mind isn't as much of a friend as you think. It's not like that little lovely, cute, lovey-dovey, pudgy voice on the back that is going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
On most days, I feel my mind works against me. I literally feel like if I can win over my mind, I have nobody to be afraid of. But dude, this mind person is like someone who is, because at that time, like at the deepest pangs
Uh,
of anxiety.
I got a really bad joke in my head, even though you're
Okay.
saying a very deep thing right now.
Take your time.
It's can I just say it?
Hey, go for it.
It's as if the mind has a mind of its own. But
Ooh, no, dude, that is deep. You're tripping on a whole new level.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no,
I had to.
that's that's fine. We need a little bit of humor in you because
Uh,
I
yeah.
think sounding preachy isn't going to solve it. I mean, to
Yeah.
all of
No,
you
we'd rather
listening
not.
out there, I'm sure you have your WebMDs and you have your online therapists and you have those friends that you call up and they end up making you feel worse for some reason, but you still keep calling them up.
No, but
But
one thing with therapists is like we encourage you to, if you require it, please get the right help. And it's not us because we might be able to talk about these things, but we aren't professionals, right?
yeah,
We would still say like if you require it, definitely do speak to
if we were
professionals because
professionals, we'd be really bad at it, I guess. We're a podcast to help fight anxiety.
no, but it's just something we want to say because it's genuinely one of those things we encourage, and you know what, we need to make it normal to be able to seek help, right?
Yes,
So
I think the culture of
yeah.
asking for help needs to sort of begin doing its rounds.